A week after the Great Mania, Scepticism Inc. opened another 5,000 betting shops all over the place. Every single one of the new betting shops had formerly been a supermarket. Scepticism Inc. profits rose incredibly, unbelievably. If anything, more people were making metaphysical bets than had done so before the Great Mania. The number of MBO cases grew, as did the number of nuts attending the weekly sessions of Metaphysical Betting Anonymous. Polls showed that 85% of the population of the UK had placed at least one metaphysical bet. 25% had placed so many bets they had actually lost count. One of those who had lost count was the Archbishop of Canterbury. In fact, he had lost count of how many times he had lost count. He was a very devout man. He seemed to spend almost all of his time betting. Many of his fellow priests in the Anglican Church were equally bitten by the metaphysical betting bug. Some even went as far as to close their churches on Sundays while they handed out vast sums of money to pretty women in white swimsuits with very pink question marks that bobbed to and fro on their heads. Scepticism Inc. began again in various ways to create the least pain and the longest life for as many as possible. Scepticism Inc. dropped another 500 prefabricated schools, distributed incredibly effective fertilizer for nothing to low-income farmers, handed out over 10 million tons of cereal to families in Zambia, Angola, Tanzania, Rwanda, Uganda, Singapore and the Philippines. Scepticism Inc. funded irrigation projects in the river basins of the Niger, Brahmaputra, the Ganges and the Mekong, for an estimated cost of £50 billion. Edgar's company gave out supplies of vitamins to third world countries and set up 25 agricultural research institutes in various parts of the world to look into ways of improving local food crops and farming techniques. Edgar, during this time, talked incessantly about how he would turn the world's largest deserts into farmland. He was sure this would triple the Earth's food production and thus end starvation. Optimism, Edgar would say, is not knowing what isn't possible. In this particular case, Edgar was wrong about what wasn't possible. The deserts of the world would remain deserts, and people would go on starving in horrible, unimaginable numbers.